Dre Day, AK. Though I've grown a lot, can't keep it home a lot.
In the annals of hip-hop history, few names resonate as profoundly as Dr. Dre-born Andre Romell Young. Dre's journey from the streets of Compton to the zenith of global music stardom is a saga of raw talent, relentless ambition, and complex human frailties. As a founding member of the seminal group NWA, Dre was instrumental in catapulting the West Coast rap scene into the global consciousness, crafting beats that became the heartbeat of a generation. His pioneering work on albums like Straight Outta Compton redefined the soundscape of hip-hop, melding gritty narratives with sonic innovation. Yet, beneath the sheen of success and the accolades, Dr. Dre's narrative is tinged with controversies that cast long shadows over his legacy. His story is not just one of musical genius, but also of personal and professional tumults that have sparked heated debates within the communities that once hailed him as a hero. The Compton community was more displeased with Dre when he claimed he had never wanted to work in Straight Outta Compton to begin with.
About it. You know, I was worried about it at the beginning.
Why were you worried? What do you mean?
As a matter of fact, I didn't even want to do the movie.
From allegations of abuse to high-profile feuds with fellow artists, Dre's life off the stage has been as impactful as his contributions to music.
Dr. Dre's estranged wife, Nicole Young, has come forward with allegations of physical and emotional against her ex, including the claim that he held a gun to her head twice during their marriage.
These controversies, particularly his strained relationship with the city of Compton, a place integral to his identity and career, paint a complex portrait of an icon whose influence on hip-hop is undeniable, yet whose personal actions have led to a re-evaluation of his standing within the community that first embraced him. Let us peel back the layers of Dr. Dre's career, exploring the dichotomy between the artist and the individual, delving into the heart of Compton, the crucible where his talent was forged, to understand why the city that once celebrated him now harbors a deep-seated resentment. Andre Romell Young, known globally as Dr. Dre, emerged from the vibrant streets of Compton, California, a city synonymous with both the struggles and the raw energy that fueled the genesis of West Coast hip-hop. In the mid-1980s, Dre's musical journey took a pivotal turn with the formation of NWA, a group that would come to define an era of rap music with its unapologetic portrayal of life in urban America. Alongside Eazy-E, Ice Cube, MC Ren, and DJ Yella, Dre crafted the sound of rebellion, embedding his beats with the angst and aspirations of a generation clamoring to be heard. The release of Straight Outta Compton in 1988 was a watershed moment, not just for Dre and NWA, but for hip-hop as a whole. The album's raw depiction of police brutality, racial profiling, and the realities of gang violence resonated with audiences worldwide, catapulting Dre into the spotlight as a visionary producer. His ability to blend stark, narrative lyricism with throbbing beats established a new blueprint for rap music, earning him the moniker of the Godfather of Gangsta Rap. However, the very elements that propelled Dre to stardom also sowed the seeds of controversy. The explicit content of NWA's lyrics drew the ire of law enforcement and conservative critics, casting a shadow over Dre's achievements. The group's internal dynamics began to strain under the weight of sudden fame and external pressures, leading to Ice Cube's departure in 1989 and contributing to a growing rift within the group. The early 1990s marked a period of transition for Dre. His departure from NWA and the subsequent fallout with Eazy-E were marred by public disputes and legal battles, reflecting deeper tensions within the rapidly evolving hip-hop landscape. Dre's move to establish Death Row Records with Suge Knight was seen as a bold step towards artistic independence, but it also entangled him in the label's notorious reputation for violence and legal troubles. Dre's solo debut, The Chronic, released in 1992, was a critical and commercial triumph that further solidified his status as a leading figure in hip-hop. The album's smooth, melodic beats and laid-back delivery were a departure from the aggressive stylings of NWA, showcasing Dre's versatility and his ability to adapt to the changing tides of the music industry. Collaborations with emerging artists like Snoop Dogg hinted at Dre's keen eye for talent and his mentorship role in shaping the next generation of rappers. Yet, as Dre's star continued to rise, so did the scrutiny of his personal life. Allegations of violence against women, particularly a highly publicized incident involving journalist Dee Barnes, cast a long shadow over his career. These allegations, coupled with the turbulent relationships within Death Row Records, painted a complex picture of Dre's legacy. The man who had once stood at the forefront of a musical revolution was now facing a backlash from the very community that had propelled him to fame. As the 1990s progressed, Dre's attempts to navigate the choppy waters of fame, creativity, and controversy would lead to further shifts in his career and personal life. His departure from Death Row, the establishment of Aftermath Entertainment, and ventures into entrepreneurship reflected a desire to redefine his legacy beyond the shadows of his past. Yet, the question remained: could Dr. Dre reconcile the contradictions of his persona, both as a revered musical genius and a figure mired in controversy? The journey from Compton's streets to the pinnacle of global fame was fraught with challenges, but it was this very journey that encapsulated the rise and fall of a legend. As Dr. Dre's influence in the music industry grew, so did the complexity of his relationships with fellow artists and producers. The early 90s were marked by Dre's departure from NWA and the subsequent founding of Death Row Records alongside Suge Knight. This period was seen as a renaissance for Dre, who was now free to explore new artistic avenues and collaborations. However, this era also unveiled the intricate web of alliances and conflicts that would come to define much of his career. The creation of Death Row Records was a bold move that positioned Dre at the helm of a burgeoning hip-hop empire. The label quickly became a powerhouse, attracting talent like Snoop Dogg, Tupac Shakur, and Warren G. Under Dre's guidance, these artists flourished, contributing to the label's reputation as the epicenter of West Coast hip-hop. Yet, the very success of Death Row also illuminated the darker aspects of the industry. The label's association with gang culture and the violent incidents that seemed to shadow its artists added a layer of notoriety to Dre's public persona. Dre's relationship with Suge Knight, in particular, was fraught with tension. Knight's aggressive management style and the legal troubles that plagued the label began to weigh heavily on Dre. The environment at Death Row, once a creative haven, started to feel more like a battleground, with artists and executives alike caught in the crossfire of internal dispute and external legal battles. The most poignant symbol of the complexities within Dre's professional relationships was his connection with Tupac Shakur. Initially, Dre and Tupac's collaboration on the hit single California Love was hailed as a triumphant merging of two of hip-hop's brightest stars. However, the relationship soon soured, marred by Tupac's suspicions and accusations of disloyalty against Dre. The rift between the two artists was not just personal, but emblematic of the larger fractures within Death Row. Amidst these tumultuous relationships, Dre's creative output continued to soar. His work on Tupac's All Eyes on Me and Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style cemented his reputation as a producer capable of crafting genre-defining hits. Yet, the accolades could not mask the growing disillusionment Dre felt with the direction Death Row was taking. The label's embrace of the gangsta rap persona and the violent incidents that seemed to follow its artists were at odds with Dre's vision for his music and his life. The breaking point came in 1996 when Dre decided to leave Death Row to establish his own label, Aftermath Entertainment. This decision was met with a mix of shock and betrayal within the hip-hop community. To many, Dre's departure signaled the end of an era for Death Row and the beginning of a new chapter fraught with uncertainty for Dre. In the aftermath of his departure, Dre faced criticism from former collaborators and fans who questioned his loyalty and his motives. The shadows behind the beats, the complex interplay of relationships that had once fueled Dre's rise, now seemed to loom large over his legacy. As Dre embarked on his new venture with Aftermath, the industry watched closely, wondering if he could replicate his past successes or if the controversies and conflicts that had marked his time at death row would continue to shadow his career. Dr. Dre's ascent to the pinnacle of the music industry was not without its share of personal controversies, casting long shadows that would intermittently eclipse his professional achievements. Among the most persistent and damaging were the allegations of abuse against women, which emerged as stark contradictions to the public persona of a pioneering music mogul.
Dr. Dre's estranged wife, Nicole Young, has come forward with allegations of physical and emotional against her ex, including the claim that he held a gun to her head twice during their marriage.
These allegations, coupled with Dre's purported lifestyle choices, fueled widespread speculation and criticism, not just within the hip-hop community, but also among the broader public. The most publicized incident, a violent altercation with television host Dee Barnes in 1991, became a focal point for discussions about Dre's character and the treatment of women in the hip-hop industry. Barnes' account of the assault, which she detailed in a lawsuit, painted a chilling picture of Dre's capacity for violence, challenging the community to reconcile the artist's musical genius with his personal actions. The incident, and Dre's subsequent legal troubles related to it, served as a grim reminder of the darker aspects of his life away from the studio. Further complicating Dre's public image were rumors and allegations about his which emerged amidst a culture that was, at the time, less accepting of diverse orientations.
I didn't know a so-called gangster rapper would go put a constraint on against another man.
Right. It's very, because I know the way
Is that why you're saying he's
I'm saying he's because his named Bruce and they've been sleeping together for years.
These rumors were fueled by rivalries within the hip-hop community, with some artists using insinuations about Dre as ammunition in their lyrical battles against him. The discourse surrounding these rumors reflected broader societal prejudices and highlighted the challenges faced by individuals in the public eye, particularly within the hyper-masculine context of hip-hop. Dre's relationships with other women in his life also came under scrutiny, most notably his tumultuous relationship with Michelle, a singer who detailed allegations of physical and emotional abuse during their time together. Michelle's candid recounting of her experiences with Dre, including in the biopic Surviving Compton, Dre, Suge, and Michelle, brought renewed attention to the issue of domestic within the entertainment industry and prompted discussions about accountability and redemption. Amidst these personal controversies, Dre's professional life continued to flourish, with his work on groundbreaking albums and the discovery of new talent cementing his status as a musical innovator. However, the dissonance between his professional accolades and his personal actions presented a complex narrative that fans and critics alike struggled to navigate. The discourse surrounding Dre's personal life was further complicated by his contributions to philanthropy and his efforts to mentor young artists. These endeavors painted a picture of a man seeking to make amends for his past actions, even as the shadows of those actions lingered. Dre's public apology to The Women I've Hurt in 2015 was seen by some as a long overdue acknowledgement of his past behaviors, while others questioned the sincerity and timing of the apology. As Dre's legacy continued to evolve, the unspoken truths of his personal life remained a contentious topic, challenging the community to grapple with the complexities of idolizing flawed individuals. The conversation about Dre's impact on music and culture was inextricably linked to the conversation about his character, with each revelation and allegation adding layers to the narrative of a man who had shaped an era of hip-hop while navigating the turbulent waters of fame, identity, and accountability. The relationship between Dr. Dre and Tupac Shakur, two of hip-hop's most iconic figures, was a complex tapestry woven with threads of collaboration, respect, and eventual discord. Initially, their partnership seemed like a match made in musical heaven, with Dre's unparalleled production skills complementing Tupac's raw lyrical talent. Their collaboration on the hit single California Love served as a high point in both artists' careers, symbolizing the potential for greatness when two of the genre's best minds joined forces. However, beneath the surface of this successful partnership, the seeds of conflict were germinating, setting the stage for a feud that would become emblematic of the era's tumultuous relationships. The roots of the discord between Dre and Tupac, can be traced back to the intricate dynamics within Death Row Records, the label that had become synonymous with the West Coast's dominance in the hip-hop industry. As Dre grew increasingly uncomfortable with the label's direction and the controversial figure of Suge Knight, his commitment to Death Row, and by extension to Tupac, one of its most prominent artists, began to wane. This growing estrangement was further exacerbated by Tupac's intense loyalty to Death Row and his escalating conflicts with East Coast artists, particularly the notorious B.I.G. Tupac's suspicions of Dre's loyalty were fueled by Dre's perceived lack of involvement in the label's ongoing feuds and his eventual decision to leave Death Row to establish Aftermath Entertainment. Tupac viewed Dre's departure as a betrayal, not just of the label, but of the collective struggle that Death Row's artists were engaged in against their East Coast rivals. This sense of betrayal was articulated in Tupac's lyrics, where he openly criticized Dre for abandoning the West Coast cause and questioned his contributions to the label's success. The feud between Dre and Tupac was not just a personal vendetta, it was reflective of the broader cultural and regional tensions within the hip-hop community. As the East Coast-West Coast rivalry reached its zenith, the discord between two of the West Coast's leading figures added a layer of complexity to the narrative, challenging fans and artists alike to pick sides in a rapidly dividing industry. Despite the public nature of their feud, the relationship between Dre and Tupac remained a subject of fascination and speculation. Some insiders suggested that the animosity was exaggerated by the media and external pressures, while others pointed to genuine grievances that had soured the relationship. The truth, as is often the case in the convoluted world of hip-hop feuds, likely lies somewhere in between, obscured by the personas and posturing that define the industry. In the years following Tupac's tragic death and Dre's continued success in the industry, the feud between the two artists has been re-examined through a lens of retrospection and nostalgia. Fans and scholars alike have pondered what might have been had the two icons reconciled and continued to collaborate. The feud between Dr. Dre and Tupac Shakur remains a poignant chapter in hip-hop history, emblematic of a time when personal conflicts intersected with cultural movements, shaping the trajectory of the music and the lives of those who created it. Dr. Dre's departure from Death Row Records, a label he helped establish and propel to the zenith of hip-hop's echelons, marked a pivotal juncture not only in his career, but also in the broader narrative of West Coast rap. This move was fraught with implications, signaling not just a shift in Dre's professional aspirations, but also a profound rupture in the intricate web of relationships and loyalties that had defined Death Row's meteoric rise. The foundation of Death Row Records was a testament to Dre's visionary talent and Suge Knight's formidable business acumen. Together, they crafted a label that was as notorious for its offstage controversies as it was celebrated for its musical output. Death Row became the epicenter of West Coast hip-hop, a beacon for artists like Snoop Dogg, Tupac Shakur, and many others who would come to define the genre's golden era. However, the label's internal dynamics, characterized by a volatile mix of creative energy and contentious personal relationships, began to take a toll on Dr. As Death Row's influence grew, so did the intensity of its internal conflicts and its entanglements with legal troubles. The environment that once fostered groundbreaking music became increasingly mired in disputes that extended beyond the studio, reflecting the tumultuous landscape of the hip-hop industry at the time. Dre, whose focus remained on musical innovation, found himself at odds with the direction in which Knight was steering the label, particularly as it delved deeper into the East Coast-West Coast rivalry that was consuming the hip-hop community. Dre's decision to leave Death Row and establish Aftermath Entertainment was a bold declaration of independence, but it was also perceived as an act of betrayal by those who remained loyal to the label. This perception was exacerbated by the timing of his departure, which coincided with a period of intense turmoil for Death Row, including Tupac Shakur's untimely death and Suge Knight's legal issues. To many within the Death Row camp and the wider hip-hop community, Dre's exit was seen as abandoning the ship in its hour of need, a move that contradicted the ethos of loyalty that had been a cornerstone of the label's identity. The fallout from Dre's departure was immediate and far-reaching. It not only strained his relationships with former collaborators, but also cast a shadow over his early endeavors. With Aftermath, the label's initial releases received a lukewarm response, leading some to question Dre's relevance without the backing of Death Row's roster. However, Dre's resilience and unwavering commitment to his craft soon dispelled these doubts. The release of Eminem's The Slim Shady LP and the subsequent success of other Aftermath artists underscored Dre's enduring influence in the industry and his ability to reinvent himself amidst adversity. In retrospect, Dre's departure from Death Row and the establishment of Aftermath Entertainment can be seen as a necessary evolution in his career, a step towards distancing himself from the controversies that had come to overshadow Death Row's musical achievements. Yet, the narrative of betrayal that accompanied this transition highlights the complex interplay of loyalty, creativity, and personal growth in the music industry. Dre's journey from Death Row to Aftermath is a testament to the challenges and triumphs that define the careers of those who dare to chart their own course in the ever-changing landscape of hip-hop. Dr. Dre's relationship with Compton, the city that served as the crucible for his musical genesis, is a narrative steeped in paradoxes. As Dre ascended to the zenith of global fame, the very streets that inspired the gritty realism of his early work began to view him through a lens of skepticism and disillusionment. This chapter delves into the complex dynamics between Dre and Compton, exploring how the city that once celebrated him as a local hero gradually became a mirror reflecting the multifaceted controversies of his career. Compton, a city synonymous with both the struggles and the vibrant cultural tapestry of urban America, was immortalized in the lyrics and beats of NWA's Straight Outta Compton. Dre, alongside his fellow artists, painted a vivid portrait of life in the city, capturing the raw energy and resilience of its residents. This representation resonated with audiences worldwide, elevating Compton to an emblematic status within the hip-hop community. However, as Dre's star rose, his physical and symbolic distance from Compton widened, leading to a growing disconnect between the artist and the community that had been instrumental in shaping his identity. The transformation of Dre's relationship with Compton can be traced through the evolution of his music and public persona, as he transitioned from the defiant anthems of NWA to the polished productions of his solo career and subsequent entrepreneurial ventures. Some in Compton felt that Dre had forsaken the authentic narratives of struggle that had defined his early work. This sentiment was compounded by Dre's relocation to more affluent locales, which to some symbolized a departure from the realities of the city he once chronicled with unflinching honesty. Moreover, the controversies surrounding Dre's personal life, particularly the allegations of abuse and the perceived betrayals within the hip-hop community, further complicated his standing in Compton. The city, which grapples with its own complex narratives of violence and resilience, found itself reflecting on the implications of idolizing a figure whose actions contradicted the principles of respect and solidarity that are cherished within the community. The release of the biopic Straight Outta Compton in 2015 reignited discussions about Dre's legacy and his relationship with the city. While the film was celebrated for bringing the story of NWA and Compton's cultural significance to a new generation, it also prompted a re-evaluation of the narratives that had been omitted or glossed over, particularly those relating to Dre's treatment of women. This led to a renewed scrutiny of Dre's contributions to Compton and whether his success had translated into meaningful engagement with the community's ongoing challenges. In recent years, Dre's philanthropic efforts, including significant contributions to the arts and education in Compton, have been seen as attempts to bridge the gap between his global persona and his roots. These initiatives, while commendable, are met with mixed reactions, reflecting the nuanced perspectives within Compton on what it means to give back to a community that has become emblematic of both the challenges and the creative potential of urban America. The silence of Compton, in the context of Dre's narrative, is not a lack of voice, but rather a contemplative pause, a collective reflection on the complexities of heroism, loyalty, and redemption. It underscores the ongoing dialogue between Dre and the city, a conversation that continues to evolve as both navigate the intersections of fame, identity, and community in the ever-changing landscape of hip-hop culture. Dr. Dre's legacy, a complex tapestry woven from groundbreaking musical achievements and personal controversies, stands at a crossroads, inviting a nuanced examination of his impact on hip-hop and the broader cultural landscape. As one of the architects of the West Coast sound, Dre's contributions to the genre are undeniable. Yet the shadows cast by his actions away from the studio prompt a critical reassessment of his place within the pantheon of musical legends. Dre's early work with NWA and his seminal album, The Chronic, laid the foundation for a new era in hip-hop, characterized by its candid exploration of urban strife and its sonic innovations. These contributions were further solidified through his mentorship of artists like Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar, each of whom would go on to redefine the genre in their own right. Dre's Midas touch in the studio, coupled with his entrepreneurial ventures, including the wildly successful Beats by Dre brand, underscored his role as a visionary capable of transcending the boundaries of music to leave an indelible mark on global pop culture. However, the narrative of Dre's legacy is punctuated by chapters that provoke discomfort and demand introspection. The allegations of abuse against women, most notably the incident involving Dee Barnes and his tumultuous relationships within the hip-hop community, paint a portrait of a man grappling with the dichotomies of his persona. These aspects of his life story challenge the notion of separating the art from the artist, raising questions about the criteria by which we evaluate and honor our cultural icons. The discourse surrounding Dre's legacy is further complicated by the evolving standards of social and cultural accountability. In an era where the transgressions of public figures are scrutinized under the unforgiving lens of social media and the Me Too movement, the actions of individuals like Dre are re-evaluated, often leading to a polarized public response. This climate of reassessment has prompted some to question the accolades and reverence bestowed upon Dre, while others advocate for a more forgiving perspective that acknowledges personal growth and redemption. Dre's attempts to address his past, including public apologies and philanthropic efforts, are seen by some as genuine acts of contrition and by others as strategic moves to mitigate the impact of his controversies on his legacy. The debate over the sincerity and effectiveness of these gestures reflects the broader societal struggle with forgiveness, rehabilitation, and the possibility of change. As we consider the totality of Dre's legacy, it becomes clear that the narrative is far from black and white. It is a spectrum that encompasses the brilliance of his musical contributions, the darkness of his personal failings, and the shades of gray that define the human condition. The question of how to reconcile these disparate elements of his story is not one with easy answers, but it is a conversation that is crucial for understanding the complexities of cultural iconography. In the final analysis, Dre's legacy, like that of many influential figures, is a mosaic of triumphs and transgressions, a living document that invites ongoing examination and dialogue. As the hip-hop community and society at large continue to grapple with these issues, Dre's story serves as a compelling case study in the dynamics of fame, creativity, and accountability, offering insights into the ways in which we construct, deconstruct, and reconstruct the narratives of our cultural heroes. In contemplating the expansive narrative of Dr. Dre's career, we are drawn into a reflection that transcends the man himself, delving into the broader discourse of legacy, redemption, and the indelible impact of cultural icons. Dre's journey from the streets of Compton to the pinnacle of global fame encapsulates a saga of human complexity, artistic innovation, and the perennial struggle between personal flaws and professional brilliance. As we stand at the crossroads of evaluating Dre's legacy, we are reminded that the stories of our most celebrated figures are often mired in contradictions, challenging us to navigate the murky waters of moral ambiguity. The duality of Dre's persona, the visionary artist on one side and the flawed individual on the other, serves as a mirror to our societal values, prompting us to question the parameters within which we judge our heroes. The discourse surrounding Dre's contributions to music and culture, juxtaposed with his personal controversies, underscores a universal truth about the human condition, that greatness and fallibility can coexist within the same individual. This realization invites a more compassionate and nuanced approach to understanding the lives of those who have shaped our cultural landscape, acknowledging that the path to redemption is both possible and complex. As we close this chapter on Dre's narrative, we are left with a legacy that is as multifaceted as the beats that once reverberated from Compton to the world. It is a legacy that continues to evolve, shaped by ongoing conversations about accountability, growth, and the transformative power of art. In the end, Dre's story is not just a reflection of one man's journey, but a compelling exploration of the dynamics that define our collective cultural heritage, challenging us to embrace the full spectrum of human potential with all its brilliance and shadows. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.